Hey everybody, Bob Adams. It is the 14th of April, and we're having another iHub Start Your Crypto webinar this evening. We talk a lot about iHub. That's all we've been focusing on, simply because out of everything else that we can point in the world of cryptocurrencies, this one here at the moment has the best opportunities to be able to do some serious cash generating before our IQD comes to fruition, which we're all been waiting for like 2 decades, but this is the one we get to do state start. So tonight, we have some really great news. I know that my box finally came. I set it up at my attorney's office in Salt Lake, and Ron was kind enough to go out there and get it set up for me, get the thing going, which I'm really appreciative of. There's still some more important things that Ron's going to talk about as far as the setups are concerned. But I'm going to get out of the way and let Ron take over. And I know that Ron's going to be doing the disclaimer as well. So, Ron, my friend, you want to head and hop on board?
Yes, Bob. Can you hear me now?
I can. I'm getting out of the way.
Perfect.
It's all yours.
Hey, thanks, Bob. And thanks to everybody for taking the time this evening. And for those that might watch or listen to the audio later, it's great for us to be able to come together weekly and just update ourselves with what's current. And so that we're all on the same page, number one, and number two, that we all become quite comfortable with the opportunity ourselves and how we might be able to share that with others. Tonight we are going to focus a little bit on the installation, the antennas, and the hotspots themselves, but we'll venture off into some other areas and some great announcements from the Helium Foundation that is going to make all of our lives much, much easier from a technology standpoint. And so let's go ahead and get the disclaimer taken care of, and then we'll move into the topics of the day. I'll go ahead and read this. All information and discussions regarding cryptocurrencies, installment of operations, iHub support, and educational materials are for educational and entertainment purposes only, are general in nature and not intended as investment, legal, or tax advice. Each person's personal investment, risk level, and financial situation is unique and different, and the information provided may not apply or work effectively for you. By signing up for and attending or participating in our informational internet or in-person workshops, seminars, and follow-up meetings, you agree that Bob Adams, Ron Duggar, Tony Elder, and all affiliated companies, representatives, associates, or employees, information providers, are hereby held harmless from all liability and loss associated with the information and discussion provided, and as to any action or strategy you may choose to implement with regard to the same. Okay, here's going to be our agenda. We're going to first cover kind of a unboxing, but I'm going to use the videos on iHub to kind of handle that first topic there. Most all of us, I'm assuming, all got or are getting during this first round this Linksdot brand, and so we'll touch mostly on that one. But they have videos that cover some of the other brands if you happen to get one of those. And we basically will cover the quick assembly and a little bit on antennas. We'll move into the iHub Hotspot Viewer, and this is where you can actually view and kind of do some maintenance, as it were, on your hotspot, and so we'll cover that. We'll cover briefly the iHub wallets, the e-wallet. This is where your commissions will be paid through to, and then CoinZoom, that is where your commissions for the travel will come through, and so we want to show you that. The Helium Light Hotspot Explained. This is brand new, hot off the press information. It's been in the works for over a year, or about a year. And so we'll cover that because it's going to really make our lives much easier in terms of getting our hotspots up and running and making money quickly. And then I just want to touch on the idea that there's no more excuses now for you and I. This opportunity is a great opportunity. It's a beautiful affiliate network concept that I love, because the revenue that we each can get from our efforts is not coming out directly out of the pockets of those we might share this with, as other network marketed type companies are, but rather it's coming from HNT that is being released out as rewards. And so I just think everybody needs to at least hear it and decide whether they want to do something about it or not. But now's the time to do it because boxes are shipping and they're not going to, those who join now are not having to wait like all of us have for many, many months now for the real rubber to meet the road and we start making some money. And then I left a little area here for Bob on some tax topics, and then we'll just get into Q&A. So that's kind of what we're going to cover. First of all, this is what the links dot box looks like. However, the ones that are being shipped out from iHub do have a branding. So where it says links dot, it now says iHub Global on it. I'm going to we'll be going into this video, or this video area. So I'm going to pull my other screen across, if I can find it. Here we are. And so this is now inside your dashboard. I'm going to show you two different ways to get to those videos. First of all, over on the left-hand side, you've got this Hotspot Manager drop-down, and then you can get into your video antenna upgrades, that kind of information down here. You can also, I think, down in support, but I'm going to go over to the support center here and go to training videos. And then we are going to go into, actually, I want to get a direct way to do that. Hotspot Manager. Set up hotspot training. There we go. Okay, so you'll be coming into this area here, and these each are open up to different videos, each of these tabs. The one I want to set up installing your hotspot. So effectively, all of these hotspots are very similar. All these videos are very short. They don't take a lot of time to watch. And so I would suggest you watch all of them. They've got some specific to different hotspot manufacturers. And so let's do Linksdot. Okay, so this is the Linksdot one. If I just close it. So I'm not going to play the whole video, but I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this along. You might hear it as I'm doing it, but so he's just unboxing it right now. Let's stop here. So you've got an Ethernet that you're going to plug into. Let's get to a couple of these other things here. I just want to see the back of that box for you. You got your power supply and a little antenna. So my recommendation is that you go ahead and install the antenna first, because that will, take the most effort to kind of hold the box and put the antenna on before plugging it in. He plugs it in first. There's probably it's not a bad thing to do, but he's got the power source to it, and then he went ahead and put his antenna on, and then finally he did the Ethernet. My order of things would actually be putting the antenna on first, and then go ahead and power it up, and then put the Ethernet cable on. You will want to install it using an Ethernet cable. You won't be able to get it to your Wi-Fi until you've first installed it with Ethernet. So you don't have to have it in the installed location when you're going through this step here. You can actually unplug it and then reposition it later if you can't get an Ethernet exactly where you're going to locate it, and you need to do it on your Wi-Fi. That can be a second step. So you'll see some lights that are going to start coming on once the power goes in. I don't have an explanation of all the lights and what they are, but we don't need to know that necessarily, because I'll show you other ways you can look into your iHub Global area in your dashboard area, and I'll show you where you can do it. Anyway, so that's kind of it. It's really 3 steps. It's powered up, and so now let's go ahead and move over to back to the dashboard, and let me make sure I'm on next topic. All right, so let's go into this area here. Let me pull this back across. I know it's not a fun way to watch here as I go through these things live, but so again, we're at dashboard. You've got your hotspot manager up here and then your hotspot viewer. The other way to get to it is hotspot manager and then your hotspot viewer. So we're going to go there next. Okay, so currently it's blank right now, but I believe when you first get in here, if I remember correctly, you were under the My Hotspots. And this is where you actually activate your hotspot from inside the dashboard here. And once it's kind of activated, then it shows up as a hosted hotspot. So you can see the one that I installed at my son's home is the Shiny Bronze Cat. So what do we know about it so far? The owner of the hotspot is actually iHub Global's master trust account. And so all of the HNT that's mined from this Shiny Bronze Cat is going into the master trust account. And so when the boxes come to us, they have already provisioned them. They're actually on the Helium network right now, but they're just not active. In other words, they're not turned on and working. So we don't have to do a couple steps because they've already done it for us. When that box comes, you're able to just do those three things: put the antenna on, plug it in, and give it an Ethernet cable, and those lights will start flashing, and it'll. That's really all it takes to activate it. So this one's telling me that the status is it's online. It's got the base antenna on it, which is a 1.2 dBi, and it's 0 elevation. So one of the next things you've got to do after you've installed it, and you don't have to do it immediately, but soon after, once you've got it into the permanent location that you want to do it, then you want to update the Helium network with your gain and your elevation. And the way you do that is over here on the Manage. And you're going to come down to Update your hotspot details. And so you're going to go ahead and do a drop down, pick the antenna that you're installing on it. And anytime you may change the elevation or the antenna, it's important that you maybe come in here and update this information on that hotspot. It's going to cost you about 55 cents, but you do not have to worry about it. They're going to be deducting that out of your HNT commissions. So there won't be a transaction that you're agreeing to. Once again, these boxes are not ours. They are Helium's master boxes. And you'll set your elevation. And this is in meters. So roughly there's 1 meter to a yardstick or to 3 yards, and so, or 3 feet. So you just keep that in mind, and you're just going to put a number in there. It does not have to be completely exact, but you do want to update it so the Helium network kind of has an idea about your box. So the next thing I wanted to point out to you is a couple things about this box. If you go into, right on your name of your box is a link. So if you click on it, it will open up and it'll give you some details, quite a lot of information about your box itself and how it's functioning. First of all, you got the status box up here. It says that it's online and syncing. Now, in the current mode and operation, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see it online and you want it syncing. It's always syncing because it's trying to communicate all the time, and it's updating the blockchain on the box itself, on the little SD card. And so syncing is what you want to actually see here. It tells you the vendor, the manufacturer. It's got a reward scale, the last 24 hours, what it's been earning, the last 7 days, and the last 30 days of that box. And so that'll grow in time. One thing I wanted to point out to you down here, this is how the rewards are happening and the different actions that are taking place. So at that date and time right there, it got a 0.01 HNT awarded to it. Well, how did it get it? Well, we had a challenger that came clear from Kansas City, United States, to Utah to challenge my box. So challengers do not have to be in that close proximity of your box itself. You see this one down here. It came clear from Chechnya, a challenger to my box. And then what is happening is you are going to actually be, your box is trying to be witnessed from boxes that are close by to you that is now saying, this box is live, it's on, it's turned on, and that gets reported back. And that's how you get your rewards. So just this information here is kind of interesting to look at. The one thing I wanted to point out to you is the information on the blockchain itself about your box. If you go to Helium Explorer and many other apps, it's not up to date. It's not real time. It's delayed. Could be a few hours old, maybe even a day or two old. And so you click on this hotspot real-time status button up here, and now it's giving us some information. Again, like we got, the blockchain is saying that the box is online. It says it's relayed right now, and I'll explain that in a minute, but it says that it's also syncing. But down here, I have an opportunity to say, you know what, is that really the information, or is there newer information? So what I can do is I can put this request a status check button over here in the blue, and that'll run for just a few moments. And what it's doing is actually it's pinging my box. It's trying to say, can it be found? Is it on? What's the current status of it? And it's going to decide or tell us again whether it's relayed or if it's not relayed. Those are the two statuses that could happen. What does relay mean? It means that the box itself at your location, even though you've given it internet, it doesn't have let's stop back. Most gateways that you have that you hook up your internet to, it's web access or transfer of data in and out, okay? But it's not necessarily data out. You can send out data, but you really can't receive data. And the data that comes from the Helium network comes on a port called 44158. And that port needs to be opened up for it to not be relayed. It means that we can ping straight to the box with the data information that we've got to transfer across the network. Now, what happens if you're relayed, you're actually, that information is coming to you, but it's coming through someone else's box and getting to you. So it really will reduce the amount of HNT that you'll be earning if you keep your box in a relayed status. And so that's the reason why opening up the port and getting the box to where it's not relayed and it's online and it's syncing. That's the three things that you want to actually have running. This is still going to take longer than I want before that result's coming back, but I can tell you what the results are going to be. It'll say that it's online, it's still relayed, and it could not ping. So that's the results we're going to get on this box. And that's because we have not, at my son's house, I have not opened up that port yet. He's just been too busy, and I haven't gone out there and done it myself. So I just wanted to let you know where you can go in and get real-time status and data on your own box. The My Network hosts area is where you'll start seeing some of the people, your affiliates and your boxes coming in. Anyway, there's that area. Let's go back to my thing, see if I've covered everything. Real-time status, view on Explorer. Okay, there's one other thing I wanted to show you, and it is back a step. Let's go back here. No, one more. Let's just go here. Viewer. Okay. There we go. I got to be here. I got to find it now. Okay, here we are. So once you're clicked down to the link here, you see this button that says View on Helium Explorer. I'm going to right-click it and just open a new tab, but this is where it'll just kick you right over, and it will find your box on the Helium display. So that's just a quick hot link. You can get over and see your box on the Helium website. Okay, I think those are all the topics that I wanted to cover in this area, and so let's try to move along to my next tab. Let's go into the e-wallet and updating that information for your commissions. So we're going to be showing you how to update your e-wallet for your HNT commissions, and then showing you also the update for your travel commissions using the ZoomMe handle. Okay, so let's start again. Let's close this. And this time, actually, I've got things up here. I'm going to jump over to the e-wallet area. And right now, I'm on the, you see I'm on the travel e-wallet. The way you get to there is, let's go back one. So the way you get to the commissions, under travel, well, you can actually do it just from commissions. So right from commissions. Okay. So you're going to get commissions back office, and when this is going to require you to log in again. I've already done it, but if you click on there and then you log in, you're going to get into this back office area for your commissions. And so on the travel, when you click into travel, it allows you to put some information right here. It's called your Zoom handle. So when you open up a CoinZoom account, you'll, when you go in here, right here, under settings, your ZoomMe handle is going to be automatically generated for you, I believe. I can't remember if I put that in or not, but I think you'll end up with a handle. And whatever that amount that is right there, you're going to place it into this place right here. Okay, so it's your ZoomMe handle gets put into there. And then you actually have a chance to set an amount. You know, I can increase this and say, don't send me anything till there's, you know, $50 in it or $100 in it. And if I confirm that and update it, then it's going to hold my money and then send it once it hits that amount. And so I want it to come to me every commission check on cash, because this is more spendable money, and I'd like to have that come to me automatically.
Hey, Ron, can you hear
me? Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Guys, just as an update on this, I know that Ron can really testify it better than I can. You don't want a lot of movement, okay, when it comes to moving these funds in and out of here, because every transaction has to be reported to the IRS. And if you have a lot of transactions, it really becomes a nightmare for your tax reporting process. So my invitation is set this thing up where at least you're comfortable with it. You know, if you want to get some out of it, then set the limit a little bit lower. But set it up there so that you don't have a transaction every freaking day. Otherwise, Ron can testify. Ron.
Yeah. I will tell you that you can change this at any time, from what I can tell. So if you want a lot of the money coming to you early on, just to kind of get break even to come, you know, with your investment and so forth, and then you could make a change to it at a later date, so that maybe it's more like every 2 weeks you might be getting something, or every month or something like that, based on your flow of money. So this is under what they call a travel e-wallet. Let's now go to the travel commission. Excuse me, actually up here, commissions. And the e-wallet up around the commissions is now your HNT wallet. Now, what you're going to do here is you're going to pay me using an HNT wallet. Okay, that's automatically in there. And then you're going to put a number in here. Where you're going to get that number from is, again, over in your CoinZoom account under your wallets, which is, I think, in your portfolio, if I can find it. And you come down to, well, I don't know if I can spot this exactly. I can't remember where I found it at. You know, I don't want to spend time on that one, because I don't think, let's see, corporation. Yeah, anyway, you will find it in here. You'll have to go find it. And it will be the wallet. You're going to copy and paste it into your e-wallet area here. You only have to do it once. That's the only wallet you're ever going to send the money to. And then again, this is in HNT, I believe, down here. So it's about every $50 worth of HNT. There's two of them. They're around $20, $25 now. And so if I left it at $2, about every $50 would be finally sent over to my wallet. And Bob's going to talk to you about a tax strategy on that part here towards the end of our presentation. Okay, so I've covered updating your commissions and the ZoomMe and the commissions. So let's see what's next. All right, now this is the exciting news. This is the announcement. I'm going to tell you how we have come up with, let me just make sure, okay, yeah, we'll be covering all of it. All right, so I'm going to show you where I'm getting to this information, so that if you wanted to come back and read this. Now this is helium.com, under resources, under blog. okay? And that's taken me over to this. This is the blog. In fact, I'm even going to go back one page and let you see it in the actual blog. It came out yesterday, April 13th, and it's about 9 minutes to read it. And so we are going to jump into it, and I will summarize it and tell you what's going on here. So basically, this whole problem with relay and syncing, well, the syncing, what it's doing is your box has to receive the entire blockchain and store it. And then not only that, but it get all of the updates for the blockchain. And when, that worked fine when there was only, dozens and hundreds and maybe a few thousand hotspots out there. But now we're pushing 750,000 hotspots around the world, and all of them are trying to stay up to date. And so it became very congested, and it's slowing down the network to the point that many of us are missing out on some of the commissions that would be due if we're running a little smoother. And so to avoid that, what they have instigated, and this is about a year ago, is when they started putting in what they call validators. Now, a validator is in the cloud. It's a node that's in the cloud, and to become a validator, you have to stake 10,000 HNT, so it's around $250,000 now if you were to become a validator. And there's about 3,000 or something like that validators that are already in the system, and they are going to make the hotspots themselves into what they're calling light hotspots, meaning that the heavy lifting of all of the blockchain itself is handled by the validators and not by the hotspots themselves. And so, since about 3 years ago, hotspots have been storing the copy of the Helium blockchain, as I just explained, and so they're doing all of this effort to try to do the proof of coverage, and every box is doing the same. Now there are over 700,000 boxes out there, and it's causing some delays, as I mentioned. The validators step in. They've been working on it for about a year, and we now have a launch date of when this is going to happen. So a couple things I wanted to point out to make sure that you're comfortable with this is there's nothing, it's not a new box that you've got to get or a different box that you've got to get. It's really a software update that's going to happen, and it's going to happen automatically. It does come, this update is coming from the software manufacturer, so even though the date that I'm going to share with you in just a moment, actually it's down there on the screen, May 3rd, coming up real soon, even though that date will hit when they activate this system, if your manufacturer has not sent to your box the firmware update, software update, then all of a sudden your box is going to stop earning until that manufacturer sends that update to your box. I was trying to determine by looking in the Discord channel on whether Links.dot is ready to send this update or not. I can only imagine that they are, but I didn't have any confirmation that I could find. So the boxes that you've received are going to be good. They're going to be updated automatically. I hope it happens right along that same date as to May 3rd for all of us, and so our boxes don't have any interruption of earnings. So there's nothing the owner of the hotspot needs to do. As I mentioned there, it will impact HN10 earnings, and this is how it's going to impact it. If your hotspot was relayed or experiencing syncing issues, in other words, it was slow to try to get the entire blockchain to it and update it all the time, the light hotspot software is going to upgrade it and bring your hotspot back to life and allow it to mine HNT. What does that mean? It means that no longer will the boxes be handling all of that data transfer, all of these hotspots. The validators are doing that, so all that has to happen is our box has to talk to a validator. And the reason why we don't have to open up ports anymore because of this relay issue and challenge is it's now our box is like talking to another website. Rather than doing the data transfer, it's just a web transfer and web connection. And so immediately when you're plugging your boxes after this update happens, you're going to immediately start earning. You won't be waiting days like Bob is right now, waiting for the the full blockchain to sync into his box, and nor will he have to do the extra step of opening up the port so that it can communicate, do that two-way communication of data transfer. The rewards will change due to the Challenger updates. So the light hotspot will still send beacons and witness beacons and transfer data just like it does today. The only rewarded activity that light hotspots will no longer participate or perform is the challenging beaconers, which constitutes of just about 0.9% of the HNT that's emitted on each of the epochs. So every hour there's what we call an epoch, and it's the proof of concept, the algorithm that kind of runs, and that's during those hours, that hour epoch is where we get our rewards. So that 0.9%, we're giving that up, and that is going to be earned by the validators. Okay, let's see if I want to catch anything else here in this thing. And like I said, you guys can go back and read that. I showed you where to find it in their blog. So again, earnings are going to depend on your antenna positions and how they can be seen as a beacon by other hotspots and how it can witness other hotspots. And so higher that you can, and then the right kind of DVI for your situation and your condition is important. But I wanted to tell you that don't wait for a new antenna before you start your box up. Your default antenna will at least get you to the point where you're downloaded the full blockchain into your SD drive, and so start right away, get it up and running, and it doesn't even have to be in its permanent location that you want to get it to. So just when it ships to you, take a few moments, get it hooked up. Let's see if there's anything. Like I said, the validator is going to now earn a little bit extra money. So here's kind of the breakdown. The Challenger, creating a challenge target of a geographical area, they're not responsible for constructing the challenge of the beaconer and waiting for the receipt. This act and role at which you earn that 0.9, that's what we're giving up. We still retain being a beaconer and a witness. And you can see as a beaconer, we earn 5.02% of the HNT that's emitted. And when you're a witness, you get 20% of the HNT emitted. And so we're giving up something, but we're gaining the simplification. And so one of the things that you're going to find that over time, the manufacturers, I think, can bring the price down of the hardware itself because the hardware doesn't have to do as much work. So it may impact our earnings, but in reality, I think when we see it in real world conditions, we'll likely, because the network is going to run so much more efficiently, we'll probably be earning more money. A little bit about a lone wolf hotspot. It may impact you more because right now you are primarily getting, a lone wolf is a hotspot that's kind of out in the boondocks. It's like Bob's if you would have done it up in Oregon. About the only earnings that you were getting was this being a challenger. And you weren't being a beacon and you weren't witnessing because nobody was around you. And so the suggestion there is if you were in that condition, that's when you really need to not only do some affiliate marketing, but you want to do it nearby and start building out your local network close to you. Okay, so I think that's really all the points that I wanted to hit here. Again, you're no longer needing to do this port forwarding, as I mentioned before. That's going to be really great. And again, the manufacturers are the ones that have to be in the testnet and being able to send us that information to us. And May 3rd is the date that we're looking for. So I think that's it, really, on that topic. And I'll try to answer any questions more, but that's about all I know too. Automatic updates. Okay, so that's on that slide. That's that information. So now it's just transition. As I mentioned before briefly, it's now time, guys. I know all of us, including me, I was a little hesitant because of the promises, and it seemed like the sliding of dates and times, and I felt like everything was not and solid on the ground to kind of get busy doing this, and sharing it with other people. But, you know, the people that we invite now are going to have a much different experience than we had. They're going to get boxes much more timely, and the revenue that could come from the travel benefits are more immediate even, and they're even worldwide. So you're not limited to sharing it just to maybe your local friends and family. You can kind of branch out a little bit further. And I've got one of my downline that does a magazine for the G20 and the G7 conferences. And so we'll be putting an ad, if I get approved, from iHub in a global magazine. So, you know, you think of ways and how you can get the word out with your affiliate link and get busy now. So, Bob, I'm going to turn a little time to you if you want to come back online and just share what you wanted to share with taxes related to this.
Okay, good job, Ron. As usual, just a quick note for me in regards to Ron, and I want you to understand something. Ron is extremely talented and very knowledgeable, in case you haven't figured that out already, about how this whole process works. And I know that he puts a lot of effort into trying to make sure that we get all the information that we need. And, you know, this whole project's a little early in the game yet, so the technical aspects are always changing. So, like now, my box is up, it's running, it's plugged in, it shows that it's there, but I'm going to wait, you know, now for that final update to come out so that it is completely immersed into the system and working. The other thing that I've done too, just personally, I went through and double-checked to make sure that CoinZoom was appropriately set up. I was also able to see that some people downline from me are already exchanging and earning HNT, and I'm getting blessed by that particular process. And so it's working. It's working. And in fact, I had a conversation with Tony today and said, yeah, it's working. It's great. So here we are. We're moving forward. We're coming to the time when all of this time where we were waiting since September of last year, we're here. This is it. Now, Ron's been saying it. I'm saying it. This is it. This is when the full package is going to be available to all of us to be able to participating full blown. Cool. Catch our breath. All right, so let's talk taxes. I did a presentation to you guys earlier when I talked about the options to be able to put your earnings from this into your Roth. I also talked to you about the ability to be able to put this into your CRUT. Now, what I want to talk about tonight is just pure, plain practicality. Practicality. Hey, Ron, I'm going to mute you just for a little bit, okay?
That's fine, perfect.
Okay, so most of us have signed up. Okay, we did not put it in underneath our Roth. We didn't do any of that stuff. We just plain signed up. All right, with the thinking that this is something we're just going to get started. Well, what most people don't realize is that this is a business. It's going to be considered a business by the IRS, and therefore we get to treat it as a business. So treating it as a business means that we're going to record all of our expenses. It's going to be associated with this thing. So let's take a look for just a moment. And what expenses have we incurred thus far? Thus far. Okay. Well, we have some internet expenses. Not a lot, but a little bit. We have some telephone. Not a lot, but a little bit. Okay. We have some computer usage. Not a lot, but a little bit. And we don't have any travel. So that part's easy. That's taken care of. So we don't really have anything as far as sitting in our house and staring at our computer monitors that is going to be qualified or quantified enough to even bother with at this moment for right now. Down the road, different story, but for right now, no. What can we deduct? Well, that $99 that we paid as part of the activation for this whole process, is that deductible? Yes, that is deductible. So you can write that one off at 100%. For those of you who have chosen to lease the box, that's a monthly expense. Can you write it off? Yes, at 100%. For those of us who elected to do the deposit of the $400, is that a write-off? No, it is not. Why? Because we have the potentiality of getting it back. Now, you have two thoughts on this. Sure, I can go ahead and write it off, but I'd have to claim it again as income later on. So my invitation is don't do that. That way if you do elect to be able to get out and or improve your box or move it or whatever, get out of the game, you're going to be able to not have to report that extra $400 coming back into your pocket. Now, down the road later on, as we expand and move forward, you may find yourself more deeply involved into the marketing aspect of this. So if you do that, then the $32 or $39 or whatever it is that they charge for the pro version is going to be a monthly expense that you can write off. Okay, good. Now, what about the travel? Well, that's a $40 package. Can you write it off? Yes, you can. Yes, you can write that off. So these expenses that we're incurring on behalf of our business needs to be recorded and properly reported to the IRS. Now, Ron showed me a program that we found the other day it's pretty simple. Be able to do the accounting. It's free. It's available. Ron, I don't remember the name of it. Ron, what was the name of that software?
Sorry, but I get back turned on. It's wave.com, I believe.
That's right, wave.com. I went and played with it. It's a good program. It'll work. Okay. So my invitation is just go take a look at it, set it up, and use it. Now, another option, if you have your online banking set up, you should be able to go in and identify your income and your expenses. And it's kind of simple. That's how I do it. I just simply use that. So every time I go in there once a month, I can identify what my expenses were, and I have a little place to be able to, click on it, and it shows me what my expenses that I've decided I'm going to utilize. And then at the end of the year, I just take and export that into my spreadsheet, and my taxes are simple. That's how I've done it for years and years and years. That's just the way that I like to do it. That's my own thing. The one with Wave, essentially, it will import your bank account information, help you categorize it, and then give you already nicely prepared a financial statement, which is pretty dang handy. That's really nice to go. Now, having done taxes for 31 years, I'm very familiar with the Schedule C. I can do it in my sleep. And so for me, I just like the spreadsheets. That's how I do it. It doesn't mean it's right for everybody else, but that's how I do it, and it works for me. Now, one other thing you want to be aware of as you're doing this and you're exercising and moving your business forward is properly reporting your income. And I would suggest that you seriously consider getting a separate bank account. When you start merging the funds between your personal money and your business money, you've got conflicts, potential problems if it comes to an audit. The other part of it is when you go to do that import-export part to move it into the Wave or any other accounting program, you don't want your personal money and your personal expenses to be, enrolled in and part of that. You want to keep them just completely separate. Completely separate. Now, what does it cost to have a bank account for your business? It depends upon where you live and which bank you work with. I have found that for me, since I do not have an EIN and since I'm not registering this business with the state, I just opened up a personal account. Now I'm over the ripe old age of 60, and so I got my bank accounts for free. And I just use one of those accounts. That's all I use it for, just that. Now the thing I like about it is it shows up online. I can check it every day, and it just works. It just works. And then if for some reason I have an expense that's come up and I need to move money from one account into that to cover a business expense, I can do that. It's easy. It's an online process. It's all finished. So my invitation to you is this. We're just getting started, all right? We're just stepping into this pool called having your own business. Do it right. Do it right. Get a separate bank account. All righty? Now, if you need to loan money to it before it starts generating revenue to be able to cover the cost of it, then that's fine. Loan money to it. Loan it to it. That's not taxable income. So when you run your report for the end of the year, whatever money you loaned it to get it going, you don't count that. And so what happens if you have more expense than you do income? Well, that's fine. You're running what's called an NOL, or a net operating loss. Well, what will the IRS say? They expect you to have an NOL the first 3 years of your business. So don't lose sleep over it. Just properly report it, and you'll be okay. Now, the next question is, how do I decide when to pull money out of my iHub accounts and do something with it? Well, first of all, we're getting paid in two different ways. One with helium, because of our mining work that we're doing, and the other in USD, essentially, from the travel side of it. H&T is a cryptocurrency. It is considered to be a capital gain. Now, we have to report to the IRS any income that mining has generated. We have to report it, and we have to report it as U.S. dollars. This is why I told you earlier, don't be in a great big rush to pull that H&T over, because every transaction becomes something else you got to add to the 8949 document showing your transactions inside the cryptocurrency world. But whatever that amount was that came over, you have to be able to show that gain as U.S. dollars. Now, fortunately, there are software programs out there that will, import the data from your exchange. That makes that process simple. It's real simple. So at the end of the year, you're going to take the income that you generated from the mining, which was paid to you in H&T. You're going to have a number that was paid in U.S. dollars. That's your income for that. Now, when you get paid for the travel, it's in U.S. dollars. That's all it is. It's in U.S. dollars. So that amount also needs to be added to whatever the dollar amount was that came from the mining. That's your business income in total right there. There it is. Okay, now, but Bob, when do I pull the money out? Good question. Here's how I'm doing it. First of all, I'm a firm believer in HODL. I like holding on to a cryptocurrency. I don't want to move it around, because every time I do an exchange, it's going to create a taxable event. I have to report it. I'd rather just let it sit. Why? Because when it gets to the point where I've got it there for over a year, and I go to exchange it, if I want to just get rid of it at that point in time, it's going to fall within that $80,000 bracket where it's not taxable. It's not taxable, which makes it handy. And so my expenses that I'm incurring, I'm going to pull out of my USD account that came from the travel stuff I did. I'm going to use that money to pay for my internet, to pay for my phone, to pay for my computer, to pay for my phone, my iPhone. Okay, that's the money I'm going to use. I'm going to leave the rest of it alone. Just let it be, let it grow. We fully anticipate that the H&T value is going to escalate quite rapidly, and we anticipate it's going to be of a pretty substantial value. So, tax-wise, right now, the way you are, don't worry about trying to put it into a Roth. We're not to that stage yet. Don't sweat it. For now, you've got a little business. Congratulations. Treat it as a business. Bank account it. Properly report it. Loan money to it to pay for the services, the obligations you have with the business, and then properly report those losses. And like I said, it can be a loss for up to 3 years. It can actually even go longer than that. I mean, the odds of being audited on this little tiny business that we're doing are almost nothing. Seriously, nothing. Much different than when the IQD comes together. That's going to be another story. But for now, this is what this is. All right, so that's pretty much what I have to carry tonight on our tax side of the game. Ron, if you want to come back on board.
All right, I'm back, and the last slide was just Q&A. So,
All right, so folks, we got about 10 minutes to cover some of the questions that might be out there, and the floor is open. So who wants to go first?
Hey, Rick. This is Irwin.
Yeah, go for it, Irwin.
Okay. Couple of questions. One is one of my downline people. I've been hooking up all the boxes for all the people that I brought in, and one of the boxes will not power up at all. You have any directions I can go with this, trying to send it back, or what?
Good question, and I know, let me see if I can find it in your back office. I think there is basically there is a place somewhere, and I've seen it, but it's the tech support help. See if it's in the support center.
One of the things about some of the tech, I'm not sure if it's the same area, but one of the tech support helps there, they're like three weeks out. Responding to you. I said, oh, no, we can't have that. So anyway, if you can come up with something, that'll be great. I'll be digging. I turned it on yesterday and tried to hook it up, and nothing happened. I went and picked it up today. I told her to just leave it on. Let's see if it comes up or anything. It never would come up. It won't power up at all.
Right.
And
okay.
I've hooked up about five boxes so far, and this was the only one that I had this particular problem with. So
is it a link? Is it a link stock? I'm curious. I think all these early ones are link stock.
Yes, it is
okay.
a link stock. Okay.
All right. Here. Oh, this is where I'm seeing. So hotspot tech support call. See that? So the hotspot manager. I knew I saw it somewhere, and then this bottom one here. I never clicked on it yet. Let's see where it goes. So that's a book a call. So
yeah.
I would maybe. Are you saying that was weeks out before you're going to go? Okay. In other words, to find a.
They're several weeks out. They're several weeks out.
Oh man.
Responding to you.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Okay. I want to see.
One other. Now this might be an interesting thing to try. Have you been watching a lot of the videos and stuff from iHub itself?
Yes, I have. And the activation part was a bit challenging too. I've got 3 of the 5 on activated, but it was through trial and error, and somehow or another I got it activated somewhere or another. I don't know. Okay. It was not really clear on his video how to make it come online. I kind of figured out some stuff and got them up and going. But anyway, I'm gonna tackle that some more too, and trying to get a little better feel for it.
Well, I guess one of the things I would maybe, this is a little approach, or what, if you watch one live, so like there's one on it in 7 minutes, I think it's going to start, and then just in the chat, just go ahead and say, hey, I'm having this issue, and one of the guys is watching that chat, and you might get a direct response kind of thing back on that issue by, when a live call's going on.
Okay, great. Okay,
I would try that. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then the second question, you guys mentioned about the free program where it take care of all of your expenses and so forth. I didn't get the name of that program.
It's Wave, WAVE.com. Let me show you.
Okay, that's great.
The way they make money, I mean, it's a full-on package that you could run a business on just nicely. A simple one, but the way they make money is if you do credit card transactions, collecting money for your business, or if you do payroll. So that's where they collect their fees, and so the rest of the accounting package is free. And we don't have either of those 2 reasons to have it, so it's a great little choice for you to do. So,
okay, excellent.
And you can set up multiple entities. I mean, as many entities as you want, and set up different. So, it's great.
Okay, excellent. Appreciate you guys' help.
All right, you bet.
All right, great questions and great comments too. All right, who's next? Anybody else?
Rick here.
Yo, Rick.
Hey, Rick. Hey, thanks, Bob. Hey, Ron, quick question on the batches that shipped. I understand batch 1 is done or just about done. Do you know what numbers they got up to on batch 1 or what? I think I'm in batch 2, but I'm trying to figure out what numbers that might go up to on reservations.
All right, let me stop because I will answer that, but I need to answer the other one. As soon as I pull that website up, so that's not the right website. This is the web, so it's waveapps.com. WAVEAPPS.com. And this is an accounting package. And like I said, it's free to sign up, and you'll never be charged. The pricing is only if you are needing to do. So it's free here if you're needing to collect payments, credit card payments, or do monthly payroll and stuff. That's where they charge their money. All right, so now back to your question. My understanding is the original batch that has gone out it was only, I think it was under 3,000 units, but they are completely sent out. Well, let me take it back. I'm sure they are by now because they said that they were all shipped, but you may not have received them yet. And that was just a few days ago's call that I was on when I kind of heard that statement. So, Dan, finish the other part of the question.
Well, I was just trying to figure out in batch 2 what number they're going to go from. But you're saying batch 1 was like from 1 to 3,000 reservation?
Yeah, well, not only that, it could change a little bit because what they were doing is if you didn't respond and select either the $18 a month or the $400 and make that payment, then you are at the front of the line of batch 2. So, does that make sense? Let's say there was 50 of those that, well, as an example, let's say there was 1,000 that were coming out and being shipped out, but 50 of those people didn't respond in time, and so 50 of the ones that were older than, or a greater number than 1,000, so 1,050, they all got boxes, and then the 50 that didn't react in time are at the first of the line for the next batch. If that makes sense, how that kind of works. So it would be hard to tell exactly. I'm assuming that there was a high percentage that because you would have already paid your $99 and you've been waiting, and you actually did it early so that you were in the first queue or early on the queue. I would guess there was a high percentage of people that executed off of that when the email came to them. So make an assumption, a high probability. If there was 3,000 that went out, those were reservation numbers under 3,000 probably would be either have their box or shortly. I mean, in the mail kind of thing.
Well, I guess I just, on a different note, if I get your opinion on this, I kind of messed up on mine. I was actually number 1,059. Okay. But I didn't complete my application process, and I was going to do that this coming week because I finally have the $400 for the deposit.
Right. Okay.
Will they probably put me at the beginning of batch number 2, or will I have to go like to the end of the line now?
No. I understand it. You're going to be based on what you did early because you had a number that was ahead of a lot, early enough that you would have been in batch 1. Just get it in as soon as you can. And this batch 2, which is I think 10,000 units, has hit the warehouse, is what the number I was heard.
Oh, okay.
So it's
them when?
Say that again?
They might ship those when?
Well, the only step they have to do once they hit their warehouse is they have to open up every box, and they've got to register those boxes to the Helium network.
Right. Okay.
And what they don't do is they don't. What do they call? I'm trying to think of a word, but basically it is where you indicate the location. Insert. It's called inserting the location, and so that happens in the Helium software. That's what you do when you plug it up and you activate it. It's effectively asserting the location to the Helium network where that box is actually residing. So it's just a matter of the time of their labor of open up boxes and register them, and they don't wait until all 10,000 are done before they start shipping. They probably ship every day, and you will get some communication saying, In fact, you probably, when you actually pay your $400, it likely will probably have some kind of communication to you saying, verifying that they received that, and it may give you another updated, information regarding delivery.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty. Any other questions? Perfect. All right, folks. I will have this rendered and put up by tomorrow morning, so it'll be available to see later on down the road. Obviously, I'll send out an email and tell everybody it's here, and we shall see you later. For those of you who attended the webinar that Tony and I did Tuesday, we will be doing another one next week. I'm just in the process of finishing up what's been a nightmare task of trying to get all of his emails straightened around. So we will be doing another one at that time, just so you can just be aware. And it'll be a great time for Tony to go over some more of the information that he's got, or at least what appears to have, on the situation in Ukraine and how that's affecting our investment. All right, folks, on that note, we're going to call it a night. Thank you very much. We shall see you later.